Hello Libra, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for August. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you a flavour of what to expect, but please stay with me because I then will dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the key dates and influences particularly relevant to your sign. Now, as you come into this month, your sector of friendship is really highlighted, and that's augmented by your ruler Venus on the 11th, which glides into this area too. Now, the standout influence for you this month is a gorgeous alliance between Venus and Jupiter, the greater benefics of the two planets of fortune, linking brilliantly together between the 16th and the 20th. And I'm going to share with you in which particular part of your life that they're going to be especially active. But we are going to see a repeat of the Saturn square with Uranus, which has been so prevalent over the last year and a half. Obviously there was 3 connections last year, and at the start of this year they were pretty close together too. So we're going to need to explore that, but also Mars, the planet of drive and passion, is going to be moving into a really pioneering part of your scope from the 20th, and it's going to be there for 8 months. This is incredibly rare, and it's going to give you a real appetite for widening your horizons, travel, higher education, and just perhaps even being a little bit more rugged in your physical pursuits too. But towards the end of the month, you may find yourself just wanting to draw back a little bit and just really think about some of the things that have occurred earlier in the month, or perhaps even over the previous year. So lots of exciting information to share with you. If you would like to ascend above this Zodiac broadcast and embrace more serious astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you a roadmap that can guide you for the rest of your life. Also, my special offer, I'll give you a 12-month personal horoscope, and there's 30% off. Please see the link beneath this video, and I must stress each chart, it will be totally individual to you. Also, I've now cracked the 100,000 subs mark. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be delighted if you can help me to get to 101 as quickly as possible. If you've already done so, thank you so much for all your views, your subscription, and any comments you make. So Libra, as you come into this month, the Sun and Mercury are in the sign of Leo. The Sun loves being in Leo, it governs this sign, and this gives your opportunity to reach out and interact with others a mighty boost. But also, as we come into the month, Mercury is preparing to make its way into the subsequent sign of Virgo, which of course means it's parked up just in your 12th house. And that's going to give you a lot of food for thought about not just the quantity of your friendships, but also the quality. And once Mercury makes its way into your sign on the 26th, I think this will make a lot more sense. But I think there is going to be quite a psychological dimension to this month. So despite the fact that it seems bright, breezy, and potentially very friendly right at the start, by the 3rd, Mars in your sector of where you're most invested, the 8th house, that's a very passionate location. That is squaring with Saturn in your sector of romance, but also of risk, which of course is now in retrograde. If there is a romantic relationship which is not working so well for you, the move of Mercury on the 4th and that very testing and abrasive right angle between Mars and Saturn could really prove to be quite frustrating. Now on the 11th, Venus, your ruler, glides from your 10th house, where it's going to be helping you to cultivate some important contacts in terms of your work, and it may be a case of who as much as what you know at the start of this month, but that does move into a much friendlier location. And as I mentioned before, from the 16th to the 20th, it's going to be aligning perfectly with Jupiter. If you'd like to add to your family, it's said that Venus and Jupiter in a very positive alliance like they are here in a sextile can be very good for conception. And Jupiter's in your sector of relating, so it could be that a friend could come into your world and become much more meaningful for you. Now, it could be in a romantic context, it just could be in terms of a friendship. But because the full moon occurs on the 12th, and that is T-squared by the disruptive influence of Uranus, which is going to be squaring bit by bit in a more intense way Saturn as this month goes on, I think that clash between House 5, where you want to be more exuberant, friendly, affectionate, and of course Saturn is not necessarily known to support all those desires, as that comes into that more tense right angle with Uranus, and that embraces this full moon on the 12th, I think you're really going to become much more conscious of who's not quite so good for you. But that doesn't mean to say that new people can't demonstrate how important they are, or some very reliable and steadfast friends demonstrate their loyalty too. And that link between Venus and Jupiter can be really lucky. But we do have, from the 12th to the 17th, the Sun in an opposition with Saturn, which is one of the trickiest aspects of all in astrology. It may be that you want to believe in your direction of travel. You want to perhaps get out and connect to people, but maybe there's something that can hold you back a little bit. You could feel a bit more inhibited. Maybe your physical vitality will be slightly down. Maybe someone's disappointing attitude can knock your confidence a little bit. But just remember that glorious link between Venus and Jupiter, because it is so potentially uplifting. Now on the 20th, the standout moment of the month for you, I feel, is the travel of the ingress of Mars into your sister air sign of Gemini. And it's going to be there through to the 25th of March next year. House 9 is very much about expansion, adventure, independence, but it can also be about truth. And of course, Mars can be a more masculine energy, nothing to do with gender, sexual orientation, or background. And if there is something that hasn't worked out well, I think almost immediately Mars can give you quite a lot of desire to create distance between you and the person or the people who are limiting you or frustrating you in some way. Now, of course, Mars is going to go into a retrograde, and that's why it's taken so long in the sign of Gemini rather than just the standard 6 weeks. And that retrograde begins on the 30th of October. But I think if there is an opportunity to get away from it all, go on a holiday, be more spontaneous, if you can do something that is more physically vigorous, I think it will be very positive. But the 9th house can be about personal freedom. So if you have found that certain associations are crowding in upon you earlier in the month, this can be a real help in terms of trying to just maintain your boundaries and just giving yourself the opportunity to discover the joys of being more freedom loving. Because one of the gifts of your sign is your sensitivity to others and how supportive you can be to people. But also one of the downsides of that is you can get so caught up with people pleasing. So if there needs to be a radical rethink around certain relationships or activities or involvements or groups that you're involved with, or if someone's been a bit clingy or jealous or possessive, I think Mars really can be like a breath of fresh air in the sign of Gemini. And of course, Gemini is also a very chatty sign, and if you've ever been interested in expressing your ideas through a publication, you know, this would be a wonderful window of opportunity right through to next spring. Now on the 23rd, the Sun does arrive to join up with Mercury briefly in the sign of Virgo. And of course for you, this can be where you are potentially wanting to just draw back a little bit. Think about the more psychological and spiritual dimension of your life. But on the 24th, Uranus goes into a retrograde which will last through to the 21st of January. Now, Uranus is, of course, the planet of freedom, but it's also the planet of truth, and mythology-wise, it's the planet that governs the sky, so very much linked to astrology. But in the 8th house, this could see you rethinking certain investments. Perhaps you need to be more innovative or more conservative. It just depends. We all know that greater financial headwinds are developing. But on the 26th, Mercury arrives in your sign. And I think that's going to be, as I said before, really significant. And just before then, it actually forges a really positive and probing link to Pluto. And that could see you have a real heart-to-heart with someone from around about the 20th to the 25th. And some kind of revelation can come about. But on the 27th, we have a Virgo new moon. 12th house new moons are quite complex, and this one's squaring up to Mars. So because Mars is in your sector of amplification, the 9th house, it really is big and dramatic, but truth-seeking, something could come into the open over the next month on the back of this full moon as we go into September, which may prove to be quite challenging, but actually once the dust settles, I actually feel that you can be really relieved that something that has perhaps been deep within you, some kind of psychological issue, can somehow or another be ventilated. Unfortunately, as this month draws to a close, although Mercury and Mars are forging a sparkling alliance, which could see you make that travel plan. Mercury is very much about ticketing, bookings, planning, of course, mental thought, communication, and Mars in that 9th house. Unfortunately, your ruler Venus is opposed by Saturn. And if a relationship has survived to the end of the month that has been bumping along the bottom, this is going to be a really important week because the 12th house energy of the new moon is very sensitive, and Venus opposed by Saturn can reveal weaknesses in relationships. So maybe something extra is going to come into the open, or a deeper connection that you can make, or some kind of perception, or you may have some kind of reading, and that will help you to understand the situation in a much more profound way. But remember, if somebody makes way this month, it's because they're not quite right for you. It doesn't mean to say they don't have certain virtues or qualities. But if you do enter into a new phase, you find yourself liberated, that leaves you free to enjoy your life as an individual, or be available for someone who'd be much more suitable for you. So if there is a transition around a friendship, an alliance, a relationship, perhaps a chilling of some kind of connection, try to be philosophical about it as this month draws to a close. Now, it is worth mentioning that Venus is about money as well as relationships. And of course, you also know it's very much about aesthetics and taste, fashion, design, interiors, particularly. So in the sign of Leo, that's potentially around those areas could be a time when you could forge those connections with other people, and some of those strands, whether it's to do with fashion or taste or understanding the direction of travel and certain mores, that could be something that's very unifying with others. But in terms of finance, the sign of Leo can be to do with risk. And if in a friendship situation, someone suggests some kind of financial arrangement between you, I'd really think very carefully before entering into that at this particular time. And if you are serious about it, definitely get some professional advice. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care, stay safe, and goodbye for now.